All right, so today's topic is similar triangles, and today our protagonist, Jimmy, the time traveler, right? He has now been transported to what looks like the future. The year is 19,800 AD, very, very, very far into the future. And he's been transported to Switzerland. And this is Switzerland, almost 20,000 years in the future, right? So let's see what know about similar triangles. Be able to cross multiply very, very quickly, because the whole of similar triangles is actually based on cross multiplication. So just as a quick review, we'll spend the first 10 minutes of class just doing practice examples on cross multiplication. So I need for everyone to try this particular question. I want you to solve for x. No tricks in this particular question. In fact, none of these questions will have tricks. I don't believe any of them will have tricks, right? I want you all to solve for x. You will need your calculator, and of course, if you get a decimal, round it off to 2 decimal places. That should be fine enough today. So get started, and of course, everyone, even if you think your answer is wrong, because we're not accepting that as an excuse today, right? Even if your answer is wrong, still send it. By sending a wrong answer, I know 2 things. 1, you're trying at least. 2, by seeing your error, I can actually kind of figure out what you may have done wrong on your end, right? So get started and send your answers on the chat, please. Next. So cross multiplication is used whenever you have an equal sign, right? Look here, you have an equal sign. And with that equal sign, you have a fraction on one side and you have exactly one fraction on the other side. So cross multiplication only works if you have exactly one fraction on either side of the equal sign. And we do. So this question has no tricks in it. To cross multiply, we take the top from on this side and multiply it by the underneath on the other side. So we say x multiplied by 8 because it's cross multiplication. I suspect some people added by mistake instead of multiply. So x multiplied by 8 is 8x. Make sure you put your equal sign after your first multiplication, and then you multiply the other diagonal, the top on this side by the underneath on the other side. You'll notice you get a kind of cross. That blue and pink line give you a cross, hence the name cross multiplication. 3 by 5 is what? 15, okay? So we have to solve for x. So using your algebra skills now, right? We know this 8 is a secret multiply. When you throw across a multiply, you are going to get what? A divide, right? So the 8 goes underneath. And when you divide this, 15 divided by 8, we are going to get roughly 1.875. But remember, if you have to round off, like if you decide to round off, at least do the examiner a favor and go to 2 decimal places. So you'll get 1.88. This is correct. This is correct, right? If you put 1.9 in a normal examiner will minus marks because you try to always at least go to 2 decimal places. Okay, right. So for those who got it wrong, did you see your mistake? This is a quick revision from about this topic. And we're going to do a few more. We're going to do a few more because if everyone in perfect cross multiplication, you're going to get everything else. And you can also have it as a fraction. So if you put 1 and 7/8, in maths version you use, you can put your answer as a fraction or as a decimal. A sane example, right? But all of them are mathematically next question, right? Let's say that we have 10 on x's underneath, but it really doesn't matter too much. And we have 5 on 3. Do you all think you all can solve for x? Like I said, it doesn't matter which diagonal you multiply first. Everyone will get the same answer. So is really. So I'm going to do it a little bit different. It usually doesn't matter which diagonal you multiply first, right? It really doesn't matter. But I'll give you some advice. You always cross multiply the one that involves the x first. And that would usually make things a little bit easier. So I'm going to use 2 colors here, right? Using the pink, and I'm going to use blue. Which one do you think I should multiply first? Even though anyone will give you the correct answer, but to make things easier on myself. Right. It's the blue one, right? Because the blue involves the letter X. So whichever one involves the letter that you're trying to find, do that one first, right? Believe me, it will make it easier. So 5 multiplied by x is 5x, and 10 multiplied by 3 is 30. So I did the blue first and then the pink, and I have my equal sign in the middle. The 5 is a multiply, throw across the multiply, you will get what? Divide. So it's 30 divided by 5. Now, I think some people throw the 5 on top by mistake, but whoever you're throwing across goes underneath when it's a multiply, right? So 30 divided by 5 is a plain old 6. All right. So just one more question, and then we can move to similar triangles. Okay. Right. So this one is not really a trick, but it's going to have 2 letters involving with the x. So if I have 7 on 3 is equal to 2x minus 1 divided by, let's say, 10. I want you all to solve for x. Remember, you want to multiply this diagonal first because this diagonal involves the letter x. Okay? Take your time and cross multiply properly. So we decided that we would cross multiply this diagonal first. Now the mistake people are making is that you have to multiply this entire thing by 3. So it has to look something like this. 3 multiplied by what? 2x minus 1, because we're multiplying everything here. But if you write it like this, you most likely are going to make a mistake. Because if you write it like this, this means you only multiplying the 2x. Don't we want to multiply the whole thing by 3? So you have to put it in what? Brackets. And everyone here gets multiplied by the 3, the 2x and the minus 1. Not just one of them, both of them. But we'll do that just now. And 7 by 10, anyone can multiply that. You will get 70. So let's take our time now and multiply all the brackets. 3 by 2x is 6x, and 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. How much people can honestly say they forgot to multiply this 1? So instead of having 3 here, they have the number 1 by mistake, which is what I suspect a lot of people did based on their answers. Right? So you have to be real careful with cross multiplication. So we're going to use our little algebra skills now. Okay? Throw across minus 3 first. You're going to get positive 3. So you're going to get 6x is equal to 73. And now the 6 is the last person. Throw him across. You get a divide. 73 divided by 6 is 12.17 if you round it off properly to 2 decimal places. For those who got it wrong, take down the working and let me know, hey, I spotted my mistake. Let's see what happens to our protagonist here, who just ended up in the future. Right. This is the future. This is Switzerland, 20,000 years. I don't know if you all remember this character here from last week. He was the king's son or something. I'm not too sure he ended up with him here. So in the future, there's just this huge robot appears. So apparently the future robots are not too fond of humans. All right. All right, so I think they're going to make a run for it eventually. All right, so let's look at similar triangles. Here's how I want you to think of similar triangles. That you have a baby triangle, and then the triangle grows up. So you have the baby, and then you have what? The adult triangle. So that's how I want you to view it, right? You notice that the adult triangle, even though he is bigger, doesn't he look to be in the same proportion as the baby triangle? Like this side was small and this side got longer. This side is small and this side seems to have gotten longer by the same amount. So the kind of proportion is maintained. Do you all see that? That the proportion, it's not like when the adult got bigger, it got distorted. It maintained the same basic shape. Which sides are similar? Well, I'll use colors for this. Do we all agree that this side and this side are similar, meaning that they correspond? This comes like the baby's arm, right arm, and when it grew up, this was the adult's right arm. So these two correspond to each other. 3 grew up to be 8. And I think everyone from just looking at this diagram could see that the 5 grew up and became what? 15. They want you to find the value of A. Look how easy it is to find A. We have to cross multiply. So remember, when we're cross multiplying, there's an equal sign, like we saw today. There will be a fraction on this side, and there will be a fraction on this side. All you need to do is take the baby values and divide it by the corresponding adult values. So you can choose any one first, the 5 or the 3. It doesn't really matter. Let's just close our eyes and we're going to choose 3. Who is the corresponding value of 3A? So you take the baby value and divide it by the adult value, which is A. And then after the equal sign, you do the same thing for the other side. You take the baby value and divide it by the adult value. So it's the baby on top divided by the corresponding adult. Baby divided by the corresponding adult. And you will get a cross multiplication situation. Do you all think you all can cross multiply and solve for the letter A? Instead of X, we're just using the letter A. Or some of you all already have the answers. All right, great. Send the answers. Right? Right. I know there's a different way to do this one, a kind of shortcut way. Please don't use the shortcut way. The examiner will want to see this working. All right. I know some of you all see a pattern, right? Are trying to avoid using that pattern. Okay. So I like to cross multiply the one with the letter that we're trying to find. 5 by A is 5A. 3 by 15 is 45. 5 is a multiply, draw across the multiply, you get a divide, so you will get 9. Okay, so the value of A is 9, right? from watching, only one person got it wrong, right? But that's okay, at least you tried, right? How would you all rate this question? Easy, medium, or hard? This question here is worth about 3 to 4 marks in the exam. But 3 marks, not 4. You get 3 marks, right? Easy stuff, right? Now, to be honest with you, I thought a lot of people would have not gotten it correct, right? Okay, but you all proved me wrong. Now, we only have one thing that a lot of people, how you say, misinterpret about similar triangles. From just looking at this, right? You all notice, right, that the sides got how much times larger? Like this side is 3 and this side is 9. How much times larger did it get? 3 times larger, right? Even if we take the 5 is, well, 5, that's a stupid question, right? And it went to what? 15. So even if 5 got 3 times larger. So here's what, the sides got 3 times larger. Fair enough. Here's how they just try to trick you in the exam. And I'm going to keep telling you this over and over today. Let's just say for some strange reason, right, that we were able to find the area of this triangle. So let me just say the area of that triangle was 8 centimeters squared. All right. Who can tell me what would be the area of the larger triangle? The adult who got 3 times larger. What would your brain normally tell you? Right? Take our best guess. Let's take our best guess, right? The reason I ask this question is because every time I ask this question, nobody gets it correct, right? I used to get it wrong in school as well. Let me do the wrong thing first. So the area of the smaller triangle, the baby triangle, is 8 centimeters squared. Common sense would say that if the sides got 3 times longer, then the area should also get 3 times longer. How much of you all did this basically? You take the area and you multiply it by 3 and you got 24 centimeters squared. I mean, I would have done that in school too, but that is wrong, okay? It's supposed to be 8 multiplied by 3 squared. Remember, area is measured in centimeters squared. So even though the sides got 3 times longer, the area does not get 3 times longer. It gets 3 squared times longer. 3 squared is not 6. All right. 3 squared is how much, guys? 9. Okay. 8 by 9 is 72. But I run out of space here, but centimeters squared. Everyone understands that because area deals with squared. Remember, that's a unit. So in other words, if the triangle, the sides got 4 times longer, you have to take the area and multiply it by 4 squared, not just 4, but 4 squared. So everyone take down this as well. And then we're going to try B together. But take a half a minute, take down everything with part A. Let me know when you are finished. All right. So part B, there's a smaller triangle and a larger triangle, right? I'm always going to call the smaller one the baby and the larger one the adult. That would make more sense. So from looking at this diagram, it's pretty easy to figure out who corresponds with who. The B corresponds with the 15 and the 12. Oops, let's use a different color there. My mistake, right? And the 12, sorry, corresponds with the 20. So what we have to do is take the baby value, B, divided by the corresponding adult value, put my equal sign, and do the same thing for the 12 and the 20. 12 divided by the adult is 20. cross multiply and solve for the letter B. Right. So let's cross multiply. I'm going to do the B and 20 first. So B by 20, well, everyone could do that. That's just 20. B, right? 12 multiplied by, that's not what, 12 multiplied by 15 is 180. This 20 is a multiply. Throw him across, you will get a divide. So B is 9, right? So what it didn't say whether it's centimeters or meters, right? But we're just going to assume it's centimeters, right? Great. So let's see if you're going to fall for the trick again. If the area, rather use A for area, right? If the area is 20 centimeters squared, what would be the area of the larger one? Let's see. Let's go back to this one over here. In the main part A, remember we said, like if the area of the, let me just say the area of this one was 10 centimeters squared. Let's say it. Remember we had to ask ourselves how much times it got larger by. So if you have 5 and 15, we know it got 3 times larger. How did you get 3 times larger? Remember, your brain would have said 15 divided by 5. I mean, some of you all did that so fast, you probably didn't realize that you're dividing 15 by 5 to get what? 3. And then you would say 10 multiplied by 3 squared, because to find the area, if the sides got 3 times larger, you have to square that and then multiply it by the area. So the question is, for this question, how much times did the sides get larger? All you have to do is take one of the adult sides and divide it by one of the baby sides. 20 divided by 12 is how much? And that is 1.67 or something like that, right? So the sides got larger by 1.67. So to find the area, we take the area, which is 20, and we multiply by 1.67 squared, right? Like in the last one over here, we would have the number 3 because the sides got 3 times larger. But now it's 1.67 times larger. So 20 multiplied by 1.67 squared, make sure you're seeing this on the calculator, 55.778 or something like that. You can round it off to 2 decimal places. Make sure you see this, keep trying it on the calculator until you see 55 point something. Sure. So how did we get the 1.67? Remember, we just typed in 20 divided by 12, but then we could reduce this. What could go into 20? So 20 and 4 into 12 is 3. I think everyone by now, right? Everyone knows how to reduce a fraction. So to get this out, we could have said 20 multiply, and this is the 5 on 3, and you have to do what with it? Square it. Everybody with me so far? That 1.67 squared is the same thing as 5 on 3 squared, but the whole fraction obviously has to get what? Squared. Let me know if you're with me so far, please. Right? Right, you're with me. Great. So how do we work this out? Remember, quick question, who does this squared belong to? Does it belong to the 5 or does it belong to the 3? See if you can remember back to indices when we were doing it in September. Right, I tried to trick you all. It actually belongs to both of them. So the 5 gets squared and the 3 gets squared. 5 squared is 25. 3 squared is 9. So all you have to do now is just work this out. 20 multiplied by 25 is 500, and you divide it by 9, right? And of course, well, from here, you could just what? 9, you can use a little primary school skills here, right? 9 into 9 is 1. 9 into 50 is what? 5. Remainder, well, how much? 5. So 9 into 50 is what? 5. Again, remainder 4. So the answer will be 55 and 4 9s. Okay, so either way, you're going to get it what? Correct. Okay. Somebody corrected me. It's 55 and 5 9s. My mistake, my mistake. Let's see what happens to our friends who are on the run from the robots. Right, so that's our friends over here. I don't know if you all see them here. Right, they're running from those robots who want to destroy them. Shooting at them. All right, so let's hope they get out of that alive. All right, so here are 2 similar triangles again, but the examiner has just tried to disguise it. You'll see if you look at, there's a baby triangle and the other one is a building, but if you look carefully, you will see a triangle, right? And they want to find the height of the building, the tower. So that means they want you to find this line here, this vertical line. Do you all think you all can do that for me? It's not even a trick question when you realize, wait, no. You just have to ignore the building, and it's just really a baby triangle on a adult triangle. So find the height of the tower there, x. And that's 0.2, not 2. So I think the building has just tricked a few people, nothing too big. So let's look at the corresponding sides. Remember, this 0.2 will correspond with the 8. And this 1 will correspond with the letter X, right? So that's the corresponding values over there. So let's take the pink ones first. It doesn't matter if you pay attention to the pink first or the blue first. It really doesn't matter. But the baby 0.2 gets divided by the 8. And for the 1, he gets divided by the X. Baby value divided by the adult value. For those who got it wrong, right? You at least have up to there. You can have it the other way around. The 1 on X could be on this side and the 0.2 on 8 could be on the other side. Like you could pay attention to the pink first or then the blue. Right? Great. So I think the cross multiplication afterwards went a little bit haywire. I'm going to do this one first because this one involves the X. 0.2 multiplied by X is 0.2 X. 1 by 8 is 8. The 0.2 is a multiply. We throw it across, we get the divide. You're going to get, remember, double check this on the calculator. 8 divided by 0.2 is 40. All right. So this X here is 40 meters. Obviously, I have to put the M in the exam, right, to get it correct. Right, Sanchez, you understand it now? Great. So let me see if I could, I know I'll keep asking this question, but it's make sure it's sticking in your head, right? If this triangle, if his area was 3 meters squared, what would be the area of the larger triangle, right? All right, so let's work out this question here. So the area of the small one is 3 meters squared, and well, we're trying to find the area of the larger one, right? Like I said, I needed the space here. Now, how much times did the sides get longer? Right? That's real easy. You take the easiest values. If somebody is 1 meter tall and then they grew to 40 meters, how much times did they get larger? And 40, because even if it divided, 40 divided by 1 is 40. Even if you take the 8 and divide it by the 0.2, you will still get 40. Does everyone agree that the triangle, the sides, increased by 40? Can we all agree on that? Each side increased by 40. So how would you find the area, right? The area, we have to take the area of the small one and not multiply by 40. You know? Remember telling you multiplying by 40 is wrong. You have to multiply by 40 what? Squared. And I think you all forgot that. And some of you all said 40 squared is 80. No, type it in on your calculator. 40 squared is 1600. And then you have to take that 1600 and multiply it by 3. And when you do that, you will get 4,800 meters squared. Right? So I think I'm going to keep pushing this question for the entire class until everyone gets it. For those who got it wrong, do you all understand your mistake? Let's try the next question. Or should we going to have a cutscene here? All right, so our friends run into this alleyway, trying to escape those robots that are trying to deal with them. Remember, he is from the medieval time, right? So he only knows castles. So he says the place looks like castles, and Jimmy here says we should hide in the building. They run into the building, and then the evil robots show up. Right, so. All right, so I need for you all to draw this one, right? So draw this and let me know when you are finished. This one has a trick in it, but I want to do this one together. You all will notice that this is not two separate triangles. Like one triangle is drawn on one side of the screen and one triangle is drawn on the other side. It's like one triangle living inside the other triangle. So what we need to do, we probably need to draw back the baby triangle, right? So the small one is the baby, and then the larger triangle is the entire triangle. Let's put in the values, right? Some people say they saw the trick already, which is good. So here's A, here's B, and here's C. But for the larger triangle, it's what? A, B, and E. Here's 2, and here's X. I think we understand that, for sure, for sure. We know here's 6. But how much is this side? What value should we put there? What value should we put there? Right, you all right. So you all seeing it, right? You see, a lot of people would put 3 over here. But isn't this side 2 plus the 3? The entire length would be 2 plus 3, which is what? 5. All right? You think you all can finish it from there now? The corresponding sides are, this is the baby, and this is the corresponding adult. This here is the baby, and the corresponding adult. Let's see if you get it out from there. Let's do the X and the 6 first, right? So the baby value is X. The corresponding adult value is 6, is equal to 2 is the baby value, and 5 is the corresponding adult value. X multiplied by 5 is 5x. 2 by 6 is 12. 5 is a secret multiply. Throw him across, you get a divide. And how much you think we'll get here? I think we'll get 12 point, how much here? 12 divided by 5, 12.4 centimeters. So X is, 2.4 centimeters. For those who got 1.7, I'm not too sure what you did wrong, but let me know that you saw your mistake. All right. Right. All right. So you know what question I'm going to ask you now, right? The smaller triangle, let's say the area is 4 centimeters squared. What would be the area of the larger one? Ask yourself, how much times did the sides get larger, right? And then square that value. This question. So remember, to find the area of the larger triangle, right? The area of the smaller one is 4. Ask yourself how much times the size got larger. Take the two easiest numbers. If you start off with 2 and then it changed to 5, okay? How much times did it get larger? And to find how much times it get larger, you have to divide it. So you take 5 and divide it by 2. So you get 2.5. So the sides expanded by 2.5 times. So you have to take the area of the smaller one and multiply it by the square of it. I think some of you all use the 2.4 by mistake, but that's the length of this side. But even if you took the 6 and divided by 2.4, you would still get 2.5. The sides expanded by 2.5 times. So it's 4 multiplied by 2.5 squared, right? Could we type in this on the calculator? 4 multiplied by 2.5 squared, and you should get exactly, that's now, 4 multiplied by 2.5 squared, we should get exactly 25 centimeters squared, right? 2.5 squared is not 100. Just use a calculator and type in this straight on your calculator, and you will see 25 up here. All right, so for those who got it wrong, right, the area part, you know what to do. Clarify it with me. Hey, you're seeing a mistake. You're seeing a mistake on what? All right, so they make it inside this building here. And some kind of construction work is going on inside the building that they're trying to hide in. Remember, this is the future, right? Oh, it's a nuclear lab, bomb lab they run into. I don't think that's going to turn out too good for them. All right. So I need for everyone to take down this diagram. Okay. Let me know when you're finished. This particular diagram is one of the more complicated ones in the exam. How do you know which side corresponds to which side? It's real easy. It's all one, not real easy. I should have shown you instead of saying it real easy, right? You see how you have this 2 underneath? Guess which one he corresponds to? This one here, right? And you see how this 7 merges into this X, like this is like a highway, and highway 7 continues into X. Well, then this one corresponds to this one. And also, I'm just saying, this slanted line would continue with this slanted line. I used to have trouble identifying which ones, right, corresponded to which one when I was in school. Okay, great. So you think you all can take it from there? This here is the baby. I put the dot by the baby and the A for the adult. All right, so let's look at the corresponding sides, right? So the baby, let's start with the 2. The baby side is 2. And the corresponding adult side is 5. X is the baby, and the corresponding adult is 7. Let's cross multiply. I'm going to do this diagonal first. 5 by x is 5x. 2 by 7 is 14. Right? 5 is a multiply. Throw across the multiply, you're going to get a divide. And let's see what we get here. 14 divided by 5. We're going to get 2.8. All right. Now, the majority of people got 2.8, but for the people who got like 17 and 1.48, you can just let me know that you saw your mistake. All right. So let's say for $1 million fake dollars, the area of the smaller triangle is 2 centimeters squared. Find the area of the larger triangle. Right? Remember the area, the small one is 2, right? Multiply by, look at this side, right? Let's take the pink side. It started off as 2 and it grew up to be 5. So how much times did it get larger? 5 divided by 2, I think everyone will be, well, that's 2.5, right? So it's 2.5, the amount of times it got larger, squared. For those who got it wrong, you understand it now? You'll get 12.5 centimeters squared. Right.